Hello friends, welcome back to our study group. Hope all of your preparation going well, and I have repeated this in many of my polity classes that you have to do some focus study for prelim perspective, especially for polity. And you know, in my first part of polity video, I have categorically mentioned if you will by heart all the schedules, then all the borrowed features. I have made videos on all schedules as well as the borrowed features. The video is there in the YouTube, my YouTube channel. You just go and watch that particular those two videos. Not only that, in the part 1 of this particular series, I have discussed the articles from 12 to 24. Very important discussion. If you want to revise it, just go and watch that particular video and it will help you in your memory part especially. And you know that part 3 is all about fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are non-justiciable. What is non-justiciable? You cannot go to court under Article 32 to Supreme Court and under Article 2 to 6 to the State High Court saying that my fundamental rights have been violated by the state and please restore my rights. And DPSP is non-justiciable. Fundamental rights are justiciable, which are you can go to court and saying that my rights are violated and please restore my rights. But DPSP is non-justiciable. Remember it. They can confuse you with this. And if you will by heart all schedules as well as all the borrowed features plus all the articles starting from Article 14 to 51, you can get at least 8 questions. Yes, at least 8 questions. If you will want to confirm 8 questions, then by heart all schedules, then by heart all the borrowed features, then by heart all the fundamental rights as well as DPSP articles starting from article number 12, 14 to 51. If you will by heart this, then you can easily answer 8 questions. Confirm. Guaranteed, I am telling you, in OPSC prelim examination. So, in my first part, let's do a quick recap what we studied. But article number 12 is about definition. Article 13 is about inconsistent. Whatever the inconsistent laws will be passed by the parliament, the Supreme Court will invalidate if the law is not consistent with part 3 of the Constitution, that is fundamental rights. Then article 14 is equality before law, equal protection before law. Then article 15 I said about the prohibition of discrimination in the name of caste, creed, religion, sex, place of birth. Then article 16, the reservation to there cannot be discrimination in public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchables. Article 18, abolition of titles. Then coming to the freedom starting from 19 to 22. Freedom of 19, I have given you a simple metric, that is EAA-MRP. Freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, then movement, then practice, then R is reside. That is article 19 for you. Then article 20, I told you that conviction of offences. Then article 21 I told you about right to life and personal liberty, and article 21A is right to education. Then article 22 I said you prevention of detention in certain cases. Then coming to the right against exploitation. In 23 I said you about the prohibition of trafficking of humans and forced labor. Then Article 24 I told you about the 14, the prohibition of children below the age of 14 in hazardous nature of job. That we discussed in the part 1 of this video. You go and watch. I took a quick revision of you so that you can memorize it for a longer duration. In today we will be going very important discussion. This part of discussion you will get at least 2 questions. See, article right to freedom of religion. What is right to freedom of religion? Right to freedom means you can profess, practice and propagate any religion. That is Article 15. Freedom of conscience. Freedom of conscience is what? Vivek. Conscience is Vivek. Then as per my wish and will, I can practice Hinduism, I can practice Islam, I can practice Christianity, I can practice Jainism, I can practice Buddhism, I can practice Sikhism. Whichever religion I feel I am inclined to, then I can practice it. Being a bureaucrat, you should uphold this article, Article 25. And you should be above all sorts of religion, caste bias, everything. Article 25 for you. Article 26. Freedom to manage religious affairs. Freedom to manage religious affairs. Constitution of India gives the individual as well as the community the freedom to manage their own religious affairs. Hindus practice in a certain way, they can practice in a certain way. Islamic people, they can practice in a certain way. Christian people, they can practice in a certain way. There cannot be any kind of interference. That is Article 26 is for you. Freedom to manage the religious affair. Then Article 27. Freedom as to payment of taxes and for promotion of any particular religion. Very important. Freedom to payment of any particular taxes, because people cannot force you to pay tax, chanda, because there are some forced contribution. People say, okay, give 500, Durga Puja coming, give 500, some other festival coming, give 500. They cannot force you. It is your voluntary will and wish. If you want to contribute, you can contribute. That is, the Constitution gives you the right that nobody can tax you to practice any particular religion, any particular. Then Article 28, freedom as to attendance at religious instruction or religious worship in certain educational institution. What is Article 28? Article 28 is freedom to attendance any kind of a religious instruction. Any kind of a religious, any particular educational institution cannot force you, okay, you have to attend this, you have to attend this ceremony, you have to attend this particular practice, you have to attend any particular prayer. Nobody can force you. That is Article 28 for you. Article 28 for you is this. Then coming to the next one is cultural and educational rights. Very, very important. Cultural and educational rights. What is there? Article 29 is protection of interest of minorities. Protection of interest of minorities is very important. Article 29. Then coming to Article 30, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institution. The Constitution gives minorities the right to establish, administer educational institution. Some people say that we are culturally minority and we want to establish a particular educational institution for our own progress, for our own growth. Then Article 30 gives you the power to do this. That is administering of minority educational institution. Safeguarding, saving of certain laws. You remember, our right to property was previously a fundamental right. Fundamental right has been removed from Article 31 and right now it is being placed in 300 subsection A, and right to property is merely a legal right now. It is no more a fundamental right. Fundamental rights are the rights which are guaranteed by the Constitution and enforced by Supreme Court. That is, they can ask you a analytical question. Who is the guardian of Constitution? There was a question in UPSC exam, who was the guardian of Constitution? Guardian of the Constitution is very, very important. It is the Supreme Court who, with various judgments, they guard and protect the basic instincts of Constitution. Basic structure of Constitution, you know, the Kesavananda Bharati judgment 1973, in which the Supreme Court has categorically mentioned that the kind of a means Parliament cannot amend all parts of Constitution. That is there. Okay. Now the saving of laws providing for acquisition of states. Then Article 31B, that is validation of certain acts and regulations. Article 31C, saving of laws giving effect to certain directive principles. And Article 31D is repealed right now. That is there. Then coming to right to constitutional remedies, very important. Article 32, while describing remedies for enforcement of rights conferred by this part. This part means part number 3. While discussing about the Article 32, Dr. Ambedkar has categorically said it is the heart and soul of the Constitution. They can ask you a question that which is the heart and soul of the Constitution. Article 32, right to constitutional remedies. Then coming to Article 33, power of Parliament to modify the rights conferred by this part in their application to forces. Means the power to modify certain acts conferred by part number 3, right to fundamental rights, to application to forces. Forces means all armed forces, police forces, intelligence forces. What is forces here? Forces is armed forces, police forces and intelligence forces. Then there are some restrictions on these forces about all the rights about this mentioned in this part. Then Article 34, restriction of rights conferred by this part while martial law is in force. Martial law. They can ask you a question, which article mentions martial law? The answer is 34. The restriction on rights conferred by this part in martial law. Article 35 is legislation to give effect to the provisions of this part. Article 35 is what? It is legislation to give effect. Means the Parliament will legislate to give effect to the provisions of this part. All the parts, all the things mentioned in part number 3, there will be timely legislation to enforce this. Then directive principle of state policy, DPSP, very important. They are asking this question several times. Part 4 is very important. Part 4, they can ask you a question, directive principles of state policy mentioned in which part? Part A, B, part 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer is 4. Okay. Then Article 36, definition. Remember definition of part 3, that is fundamental rights, the article number 12, and in directive principle it is 36. Article 37, application of the principles contained in this part. Application of principles contained in this part is Article 37. Then Article 38, state to secure a social order for promotion of welfare of the people. State to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. That is Article 38 for you. They can ask you a question, in which article the welfare state is mentioned. They have asked this particular question in many of the examinations, and the welfare state is mentioned in under Article 38. I think concept is clear. Then Article 39, certain principles of the policy to be followed by the state. Certain principles of policies to be followed by the state. Mention the part is directive principle, and where it is explicitly mentioned, it is mentioned in 39. That is certain principles of the policy to be followed by the state. It is direction to the government that when the resources will allow, you have to shift some of the articles from this side to the part 3, means taking it from this and putting it in the justiciable part, non-justiciable to justiciable. We have seen in the case of right to education. Right to education has been taken from the Article 45 and put in 21A of Indian Constitution. Then the Article 39A is equal justice and free legal aid. Equal justice and free legal aid, very important. If somebody is unable to hire a lawyer for himself or herself, then the state will provide a lawyer. There it is mentioned under Article 39A. Then Article 40 is organization of village panchayat. organization of village panchayat is very important, because it is Gandhiji's vision to decentralize the decision making process. And through decentralization we have seen Balwant Rai Mehta committee, Ashok Mehta committee, LN Singhvi committee, and so many, and later on it culminated into 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. So this was all about this discussion. We will continue this very important discussion. Watch this video again and again so that it goes. Thank you very much.